topic is cover letters. As we already discussed the resume, and we also hinted at cover letters while discussing the resume, we discussed that cover letters are prerequisite or sometimes not prerequisite but required to cover your CV or to cover your resume. Cover letters are to facilitate or to enhance the importance of your resume, or it is meant for covering those things which you didn't include in your resume or CV. Moreover, it enriches your chances for selection for any job. First of all, let's start what is written in the first paragraph of the first slide. It says that, have you ever responded to a want ad in the newspaper? If you put this question or pose this question on yourself, you can answer better. Yes or no? Yes, अगर मैं अपने ऊपर अप्लाई करूं तो yes, I have responded to a want ad in the newspaper. And if you have considered responding to a want ad in the newspaper, what did you do? You are in a better position to answer on your behalf. If so, you probably sent the company a letter telling them about your interest in and qualifications for the job along with your resume. If you have done this, that if you have responded to a want ad, it does mean so you must have sent the company your resume or your CV along with might be along with the cover letters. Cover letters might be necessary, and it might not be necessary if you have responded to a want ad in a newspaper or in any other or a want ad which was published in any other place. A cover letter is an introduction to your resume and a request to be interviewed for a job. So this is the kind of definition here. Cover letter tells the your future employer about your resume, that what your resume is about. Does mean it extends or it covers in the information which have been given in the resume. And it is also a request to be interviewed for a job. It does mean you are kind of making a request, you are throwing a request to an employer, to a future employer, to recruit you for a job. It is an opportunity for you to highlight specific experiences or qualifications you have that aren't explained in your resume. So, as I have already discussed this point at the start, that it is also going to your cover letter is also going to highlight the specific experiences or the qualifications that you couldn't explain in your resume, because resume is a kind of short technical document. You do not explain everything in your resume. That's why you need cover letters. Unlike a resume, a cover letter is subjective. Does mean subjective does mean you reveal yourself in the cover letter. You are going to maybe boast of at times. You are going to substantiate you are going to substantiate your potential with some proofs, right? Or your abilities with some proof. So it does mean it is going to be subjective writing, unlike resume, which is objective writing. It is your opinion of how your background prepares you for the job, right? Here you tell the person or a company or your future employer that what is your background and how are you fit for this job, what makes you fit for this job, why you should be selected for this job. So it does mean it gives them a kind of background. You want your future employer to look at you from the prism you want him or her to look at, to look through. So it is you who are providing them a kind of lens or a prism to look at you. You are giving them an angle. by which they should look at you. Moreover, a cover letter is often the first encounter you have with a company, so you want to make good first impression. All right. So this is the first document, right? This is the kind of first encounter or a contact with the company. So you want this cover letter to be very good, right? You want to leave a good impression. So how to write a cover letter? There are a few tips. There is a specific format for this cover letter, so we are going to discuss that. Like all forms of business writing, cover letters have a specific format and style. A standard cover letter usually has 4 paragraphs. First paragraph. The main purpose of the first paragraph is to convince the reader to keep reading. You should introduce yourself to the employer, explain your purpose in writing, and name the job or position you want to be considered for. So it does mean that your first paragraph should be very convincing. It should fascinate your reader, right? The writing should not be dull or boring. You should not use repetition, right? You should be very catchy with the words, and also with the flow or the rhythm of the language. And also you must be able to provide a very solid background and a very solid introduction, so that the reader or the future employer should continue reading your cover letter. If you know of a specific job opening at the company, you should tell how you heard about the opening in the first paragraph, from a person, from an ad in the newspaper, from the company's website, from a career fair, and so on. So if you know that how you came to know about this job, so you should tell the person or the company at the very start. This is also the place to mention any other ties you have to the company. For example, if someone you know works for the company and recommended that you apply for the job, you might mention the person's name in the first paragraph. Oh, here the writer tells us that if you have any contact with the company you're applying for, you should reveal that contact in the very first paragraph. So here we have some examples that how what sort of sentences or what kind of format or what kind of syntax you use in the first paragraph. Here we have a few examples, like this letter is to express my interest and I am very interested in working for XYZ company, or blah blah blah. You can read all those writing here. I recently joined, etc. Let's move toward the next paragraph. Here in the next slide, we are being told that it is important to personalize each cover letter. Here are some ways to personalize each letter. Address the letter to a person. Try to find the name and title of someone who works at the company. You might have to call the company and ask for the name of someone in human resources, etc. It does mean you try to know the name of the person you are writing to or who works at the company, right? So try to personalize it, make it kind of personal, not personal about you only, but also try to know the name of the person you are sending your which to whom you're sending your cover letter. For example, if someone is working in the human resource department, and if you know him or her in person or not, it doesn't matter. Try to call the company and try to know the name of the person or the personnel working there in the department. If you absolutely cannot find a person to address your letter to, then it is acceptable to address your letter to sir, madam, but it's nearly as effective as addressing a specific person. If you do not know, इसका मतलब है कि if you do not know any person who is working there in the company, you can simply say or you address your letter to sir or madam, but remember that it is not as effective as addressing a specific person. Second point, use a different cover letter for each job inquiry. Well, of course, your cover letter will vary for each job, right? You cannot write one cover letter for every jobs in the world you are applying for. Every job in the world you are applying for, or you cannot. You can simply, if you are applying for different jobs at different companies, you must be able to temper the cover letter, you must be able to bring some sort of changes or upgrade the vocabulary or the language or the purposes or the aims behind the cover letter. Of course, it will change along with the needs or the demands of the job. Although there are some cases in which a mass mailing of a form letter works, in general, you should write each cover letter with a specific company and job in mind. The same thing which I have already said. You can often recycle parts of a standard cover letter or an inventory of your skills. However, every company has and every job are different. Your cover letter should reflect that. The writer says that you can of course recycle some parts of the cover letter. That means you can reuse some parts of your cover letter. Of course, there are some common skills which you are skilled. There are some common skills which you can use in each cover letter, but not but it is not necessary that you can use all the skills and all the four paragraphs, all the same four paragraphs for every job, because the demands change, the your objects change, your aims change. So same is the case with objects of the company, and they also change. Paragraph number 2. In this paragraph, you should show how you are a good match for the company. Often, this will require doing some research in the company beforehand. So here you are going to tell the company that how are you a best choice, the best choice for this company. So how can you tell a company that you are the best choice for the company? Of course, if you have some sort of homework for the of the company, if you do not have any homework uh, for the on the company, so you will not be able to tell that uh, you cannot do, you are not best if you are not if you do not have any homework on the company before, and you will not be able to tell that how you are the best choice for the company. So I'm here are some examples which are given in the paragraph number 2. There is a language. You can also use such language, or you can use your own language. You can just get some lesson from this language, or you can also reproduce the language if you are writing on your own. I am a good match for XYZ company because, based on my research, I am convinced that my values are a good match with those of XYZ company. For example, I have the skills to do a work job at XYZ company, for example. So this sort of language you can choose in your paragraph number 2. You are going to tell the company or the reader that you are a good match for the company. So for that purpose, you can use such language. Writing tip: keep your reader's point of view in mind as you write. Your writing should focus on the employer's needs, or rather than telling all the things you hope to learn from the company, or the things you hope to get from the company, stick with what you can do for the company. So it tells us, the writing tip tells us that your writing should focus on the employer's need, that you must know that what your employer wants from you. So you should uh, highlight those abilities and skills of yours which your employer wants. So you must know that what your employer wants. So for that purpose, you should do some homework, or you should research or search the needs of the company beforehand. In the next slide and in the next paragraph, uh, you should give specific details about yourself and show how they relate to the job you are applying for. You want to show that you are qualified to do the job well. So in this paragraph, you tell them that you tell them some more details about yourself, and you also try to make a background, make a pitch that make a pitch of your abilities. Sorry, make a pitch, and so that you can relate yourself with the needs of the company. So it does mean you are going to tell them some more details which are still related to the demands of the company, and you are going to prove, you are once again stretching the proofs, are the facts related to regarding your skills and regarding your abilities, which are also the needs of the company. And you are going to tell them that you are qualified, you are well suited, you are the best choice for the job. So for example, you might find these types of sentences in the third paragraph of cover letter. For example, my major is in business and I have taken a number of courses in computer programming. I have taken a number of classes in statistics and I use statistics in my seniors project. And the third one, I've served as language exchange partner in conjunction with the Intensive Language Institute. I recruited volunteers for and manage a project of at XYZ charity. So it does mean you are extending the plethora of the proofs which you have used, or the plethora of your introduction which you have already given in the first and the second paragraph. So you you are trying to woo or influence uh, your reader, or the company or the future employer, and so you want him or her to recruit you. So for that purpose you are giving him or her more details about yourself, specifically the details which also fulfill the needs of the company you are applying for. Writing tips: support your claims with specific example. For example, instead of saying this in the left side, on the left side we have those things which we should not use, or if we use them we should also back them up with some examples, like which we have been given in the right side. So instead of simply saying I'm a quick learner, you should say I'm a quick learner. This past summer I was recommended by my supervisors at XYZ company for my ability to learn about the organization and contribute to projects in a relatively short amount of time. So it does mean you are giving proof of the ability which you have used in the first sentence. It is of no use if you simply say that I'm a quick learner. You must be able to give some proof. You must be able to prove it or uphold it with some authentic language and some authentic proof. Similarly, same is the case with the second paragraph or the second sentence. Instead of saying I am a leader at school, you should prove it, or extend or stretch it with some example or with some proof. I am a leader at school. As president of the university math club, I implemented several new programs such as peer tutoring and a math competition, and increase membership by 30%. So in this way the reader or your future employees might get impressed by your writing or also by your abilities. Same is the case here. You can read this slide and you can apply this while writing the cover letter. Again the same thing here. So what is paragraph number 4? The last paragraph is your conclusion. As with all writing, you want to conclude with a take-home message. Your take-home message will usually be that you are qualified for the job and would like so that you will call in the next week. If you are telling them that you are going to call next week, so you should call next week. It's not like that you are telling them that you will call next week and you don't call next week, so it will give a very bad impression on the about your personality, right? So they might not even hire you for this mistake. If you say that you are available in the evenings after 6 p.m., then you should try to be home and available to talk like this, right? So if you do not act according to your sayings, this might reduce or diminish the chances of selection. Look at an example of a cover letter. So here we have uh, the sample or an example of a cover letter. At the top right side we have given the date and our address, and in the left side we have provided the name of the person we are addressing our letter to, or we are sending our letter to, MS John Hamoud, and campus recruiter, and that is his position at XYZ company. Here you will put the name of the company and then you will write the address of the company. And in the first paragraph, which is given here in the circle, we are going to discuss the point which is in the circle. It is the writer tells his purpose in writing and names the position he is interested in. and he also tells how he heard about the position. How does writer writes? You can see, and I enjoyed speaking with you Friday at the hometown community college career fair, as I mentioned this and that, etc. So here he gives his purpose in writing, and he also names the position he is applying for or he is interested in. That he also tells the company that how he came to know about the position or about the vacant post. And in the second paragraph, the writer matches or aligns himself with two characteristics he has found are important to XYZ company through his research, which are customer service and knowledge of technology. Here, this is how he matches his own abilities with the needs of the company. You can read the paragraph, and you can know the meaning here. It is written in a very simple language. Paragraph. The writer gives examples of his time management and teamwork skills, two skills he learned are important to the position he's seeking for. So in the third paragraph, he is kind of the writer is kind of stretching the proofs or the abilities which he also mentioned in the second paragraph, right? He is giving some proofs, right, from 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 the experiences, from the jobs he has already done or he has already experienced somewhere. So he tells about his time management skills, etc. In the fourth paragraph, he ends with a strong take-home message and sets a goal for the next step in the process, right? So at the end, he gives his name and signature, etc. This is the last slide. Here we have been given some tips. The three tips here: be concise. Your cover letter should be concise, and it should be written in clear, simple, and concise language and easy to follow language, right? And you should not use flowery language, or you should not use fancy words or metaphorical words, right? And try to be polite and formal in writing. Avoid slang, cliches, contractions in informal language. Use action verbs, and action verbs are those that clearly show you as a valuable employee. This is all about a cover letter, or how to write a cover letter. I hope you have understood the topic. If you still have any questions, you can ask me on WhatsApp or Google Classroom. Thank you very much.